Welcome to Wonder Tools. I'm Jeremy Kaplan, and today I'm exploring timeboxing, a practical approach I use to plan my 100 weekly waking hours. Whether you're new to timeboxing or already familiar with it, I'll share some tips and tools to help you make the most of your time as we start this new year. Timeboxing means basically scheduling specific tasks directly onto your calendar. Instead of working from a simple to do list, you decide exactly when you'll tackle each task and how long you'll spend on it. This helps create a realistic plan that accounts for your priorities and available time. Here's how it works for me. I start each day, or at least most days, with 15 minutes of reflection and planning. Using either a simple notebook or a digital tool called Sensama, I review my tasks, set priorities, and schedule specific time slots for deep work. I work around my existing commitments like meetings and teaching. You might find time boxing helpful if you have some control over your daily schedule and a sense of how long different tasks typically take you. It's particularly useful if you know your daily energy patterns, like when you're most focused and productive. And you don't have to time box your whole day. Even scheduling just your morning or afternoon hours or a couple hours in the evening can make a difference. Let me share a simple step by step process to get started in case that's useful for you. First, choose a planning time, either early morning or at the end of your workday typically works well. I prefer morning when my mind is fresh, but others I know like to plan at the end of the day for the next day. Next, take 5 minutes to list your top priorities for your upcoming work session. What are the things that are most crucial for you to do and most valuable for you? Don't try to list everything, just focus on what's most important. Then spend another 5 minutes noting essential tasks that aren't priorities but still need to get done today. Again, not everything, just the essentials. Take 2 minutes to then jot down any other relevant notes or future items that are on your mind. Then estimate how long each task that you've written down will take, adding a 25% or 50% buffer for unexpected interruptions or just poor estimates. And finally, block these tasks into specific time slots on your calendar. A pro tip is to start small. Don't try to schedule your entire week. Start with a single day or part of a day and use existing tools, whatever you already use, even if it's just pen and paper or an existing calendar app. The tools in this case aren't as important as the process. There are some common pitfalls to watch out for with time boxing. The biggest one is overscheduling. Don't try to fill every minute of your day. You need buffer time for unexpected tasks and the occasional creative detour. Most tasks take longer than we expect. Some research suggests that we underestimate tasks by 3x. So I recommend doubling at least your initial time estimates for anything you're unsure about. Another key tip is matching your challenging tasks to your peak energy time. Don't plan too far ahead, so you're focusing on your next work session rather than mapping out your entire week. Things change quickly and your priorities may change. Flexibility is essential. Let me share a few thoughts on how timeboxing supports other productivity approaches you might be familiar with. Take the Eisenhower matrix framework. While it helps you decide what's urgent and important, timeboxing works well with that matrix because it helps you determine when to do those things. Or take the popular Eat the Frog method, which focuses on tackling your biggest task first. Timeboxing gives you a structure to ensure you actually schedule that most challenging work. In terms of the tools, you don't need anything fancy to get started with timeboxing. A simple piece of graph paper works wonderfully, or even just a plain piece of paper. Each box can represent 15 minutes of your day if you're using graph paper, or you can draw some lines on a plain piece of paper. I'm also a fan of old school sand timers. They're beautiful, battery free, and provide a visual reminder to help you stay focused. If you do prefer digital tools, here are some other options. Google Sheets or Excel. Those work well for independent planning. I've created a template you can access in the written version of this post at wondertools.substack.com. It's free and you can customize it. Google Tasks also works well. It integrates nicely with Google Calendar if you are already in that Google ecosystem, and it's free. You can drag items from your task list in Google Tasks directly into your calendar, which is kind of handy. And there's even a sidebar built into Google Calendar where you can see the Google Tasks and drag them in. One caveat is that you can't, in that instance, allocate a specific amount of time. The Google Task is just on your calendar, but the default is just set for kind of a 15-minute little interval. For those who want to invest in a more robust kind of solution, I use and recommend Sensama. Sunsama. It syncs with your existing calendar and task management tools, whether you're using Outlook or Google Calendar or tools like Notion or Asana or Todoist or Monday or ClickUp. It's $16 monthly, though, so it's definitely a premium option. Let me share a few thoughts on how my own approach has evolved over time. I used to start my days checking email and would constantly pause throughout the day to figure out what to do next. Now, I generally plan first, then focus on execution. This saves mental energy and reduces decision fatigue for me. Basically, my smarter brain is doing the planning when I'm focused, and my more tired brain or my less focused brain is just executing on tasks I've already planned to do or deep work I've decided earlier that I would focus on. But here's a reality check. I still have many days when things don't go as planned, of course, as we all do, I suppose. And sometimes I bounce between tasks without finishing things or spend too much time on email or fall into procrastination loops. When that happens, I've learned to forgive myself and start fresh the next day or after lunch. Time boxing is not going to solve all that, but it's certainly going to help me prepare to have a structure for the day so that when I do lose track of time or when I do go down a rabbit hole, I have a schedule that I've already planned out to return to, which I find really helpful. It gives me a structure for focusing on what matters most when I return to my focus. Whether you use a simple notebook or a sophisticated software tool, the key is finding an approach that works for you and that you can use consistently, which is why I'm suggesting the simple, easy approach that works with whatever existing tools you're already using. For more details on timeboxing and other productivity tools, as well as some suggested resources and readings, you can check out the written version of this post at wondertools.substack.com. I'm Jeremy Kaplan, and thanks so much for listening to this audio version of Wonder Tools.